Hi, Hunter.
Yo, what's up? How
Oh,
you doing?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
Pretty good.
That's good. Nice lazy Friday going on.
Yeah, it's been yo-yoing a bunch, as usual.
Well, I guess
Really no different than any other day.
if your job is yo-yoing, well, that's the opposite of lazy. It's a very productive day if you're yo-yoing all day. Oh man. Well, I'm excited to have you here. So I got from you this new spotlight. Oh my God, we match. Look at
Yes,
that.
sir, matching yo-yos. Twins.
And this is the Spotlight Ultra, right?
Yep,
So I wanted to bring you on because first of all, I really like this yo-yo.
thank you.
I tried it. You visited LA, and I tried it at I think Griffith Park. When we're filming some stuff or just like hanging out over there, and I tried it out, and I really liked it. It felt like you kind of just took a yo-yo design and you just like kept the parts that make a good yo-yo and ignored anything else, which is very
Yeah,
like easy to say that about a lot of designs, but like it's got a perfect finger spin groove. It was able to handle DNAs. Like it doesn't have a specific DNA hub, but it's able to do them. It had a nice little rim so that you can do thumb grinds. The blast is there, which I always care if there's a blast because if there's
yeah,
not, don't buy the yo-yo. And so like it was just like really nice. And then the next one came out, which was and
yeah.
I'll get into that. So I just wanted to bring you on to talk about these two yo-yos and the differences between the new one, and yeah, just get some more information about the story about this thing.
All right, yeah. So started with the original Spotlight, as you're saying.
Mhm.
It released my birthday, September 25th, two years ago, I think. Wait, yeah, 2021. September 25th. And then last year I got the idea because you've heard of the Space Crown Ultra,
Mm,
an old Yo-Yo
uh,
factory yo-yo.
like yeah.
Yeah, so they had the Space Crown Ultra, and the Ultra is basically a different material, 7068, which is like a stronger aluminum.
Mhm.
Not sure if you know like the differences between the different types of aluminums or not, but that's like the
I
pretty
do,
much the
but our
strongest
viewers
aluminum you
might
can
not.
get. Okay, yeah. So I guess it's good to say either way.
uh,
But yeah, so you have that stronger aluminum in that Space Crown Ultra, and that's kind of like a yo-yo factory thing that they've done with a couple yo-yos. So then they had Nate. Nate had the ND, which was like a normal 6061 yo-yo,
mhm.
normal aluminum that people used to make yo-yos. Then
Yeah.
they made the ND Ultra, which was made out of the 7068, and that was actually like my competition yo-yo. I don't remember for how long, but back in 2018 I was
uh,
using that yo-yo quite a bit. I just love the feeling of the ultra yo-yos. They just feel like super, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but like I feel like anyone that uses one knows what feeling I'm talking about.
mhm.
It just feels like I guess it feels like a luxury yo-yo to a certain extent.
Mhm.
Like it just feels premium, I guess is a good way to
Yeah.
put it. So with the original Spotlight, I wanted this to be like an affordable yo-yo, but I also wanted something that could be like even higher performance, which would be end up being the Spotlight Ultra. So, at least in my opinion, I feel like the Ultra, it's worth the price, even though it's $30 to $35 more expensive than the original.
Yeah.
But even though there's that extra price, I feel like it pretty much is an improvement in every way possible from the original.
I
So
definitely agree. And let's just talk for a second about the differences between aluminums because I know back in the day, like all the classic COIWs, those were all 6061. And
yeah,
60,
pretty much all yo-yos were 6061 for a while, as
yeah,
far as I know.
like that was the go-to. And it has
The
one,
cheapest one.
what was that?
It's like the cheapest. It's like
Oh
the
yeah.
most affordable way to make yo-yos.
It's super, so it's cheap, it's really soft, which is good because if you're cutting, you can remove more material. It's like, if you're
Hmm.
cutting a banana with a knife, then that's going to be a lot easier than cutting a brick with a knife. And it's the
Yeah,
same with metal. and because it's softer, I think it's more porous, which makes it better for ano. So ano will like stick in 6061 longer. Um, and or at least it's easier to do it. Now I think technology has improved to the point where it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter anymore, but it used to. In fact, the original caffeine that I released, after a while, my ano has started to rub off because I used 7075 back in like 2014 or something. Um, and so now that's not so much of a problem, but it kind of goes 6061 is the cheapest and the softest, and then 7075, and then 7068 is kind of the like it it's more like it's not titanium, but it's more on that side of the spectrum in terms of
Yeah,
strength than
even
6060.
though a lot of people consider titanium like the strongest kind of metal you can make a yo-yo out of,
Yeah.
believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this fun fact. 7068 aluminum is actually stronger than titanium.
Wow.
Yeah.
And cheaper.
Yeah, it's cheaper too, which I don't really get, but I'm not complaining.
And some of the so tell us about some of the design aspects that that can open up, because I know some, but I'm interested like.
Like with the original
Oh no
or
no no.
the
So
ultra.
with 7068, well, so what I'm getting at, I'll just say it, is that you can get thinner walls on it, and so you can
Oh
have
yeah.
better weight distribution control, and clearly you took advantage of that on here.
Yeah.
So could you tell us about a little bit like the differences, how you went from the original Spotlight into this Ultra?
Yeah, so as I was saying, I really like the ND Ultra, so I wanted to make like a Spotlight Ultra, and obviously the aluminum is probably the biggest difference. So
Mhm.
it's stronger, so you can hit it on the new Ultra, you can hit on the ground a lot harder without it getting damaged as much.
Mhm.
So the anode doesn't get messed up as much either.
Yes.
Also, because of its the way it's as like the finish on this yo-yo is actually really good, so it's even better for grinds.
Mhm.
And it's a little bit lighter, like half a gram lighter than the original Spotlight. So you feel like you can yo-yo a little bit faster with it.
Mhm.
Also, it's just slightly wider. You can barely even like if you put them side by side, you can barely even see a difference. Maybe you can't see a difference, but it just feels you can feel that slight extra width, and it makes it just a little bit easier to be able to land tricks.
Yeah. It's it's a nice width of yo-yo, and it actually, like, once I got it and started playing with it, I started playing with it a lot more than I thought that I would. Because usually, like, I'll get a new yo-yo and I'll play it with it for a little bit, but some of them really stick with me and like actually travel with me. But then I was like, wait, I want to keep this mint, so I kept it at home after that. But I was playing with it really, really regularly, and it made me, for the first time, actually like wider yo-yos, because I've kind of been stuck in older designs, and this kind of opened up like, oh man, this makes tricks so much easier to land.
Yeah,
Um,
I know. Yeah, that's the thing. As many people know, like if anyone's seen my tricks, you'll know that I do a lot of over the head tricks, bangers, lacerations, body tricks, stuff like that. All that stuff is so much easier the wider the yo-yo is.
mhm,
Obviously, you don't want it so wide because you want that balance to be able to do tech tricks still. So you don't want like the width of a monster or something like that.
yeah,
If you're familiar with that yo-yo,
I
that
I
thing's like
I got a super
novelty
wide
width.
recently. Very, very similar.
Yeah, similar kind of yo-yo, but I think actually that's what Evan based the edge off of. I think
Really?
was that like because the monster was his competition yo-yo for a while, like back in 2014, 2015, I think. But then he wanted something that was more versatile, so
Uh-huh.
he made a yo-yo that's slightly less of that like novelty width, where you
That's
can't do like chopsticks or tech
mhm.
and stuff like that. Yeah, anyways, yeah, definitely a wide yo-yo for sure. And another feature I forgot to mention on the Ultra is it has these it's
Oh,
polished on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit shiny.
yeah.
I'm not sure if you've noticed that, but that actually makes it not as grippy when you're binding. Well, it actually makes it less snaggy, but it's still able to bind well just because of how the shape is. So one problem, like with the original Spotlight, a lot of people saw. I didn't really see it too much because I think it has to do with the colorway a little bit. But
Mm,
like the solid colors don't really have the problem, but with some of the like multicolored ones, like the Galaxy and stuff on the original Spotlight, people had a problem with snags a little bit.
mm.
I think it was because that wasn't polished. And I think I'm not like that familiar with yo-yo design because I really like these are the only yo-yos. I haven't actually designed a yo-yo from scratch. Like the spotlights were Yo-Yo Factory designing them, me making changes. So I'm not super familiar with like that part of it.
Uh-huh.
But what I do know is that it was snagging, so maybe it just needed that little bit of polish on the inside like that. And that definitely makes it bind a lot smoother. Like it doesn't really knot that much. It doesn't snag too much when you're trying to do binds with this. So that's definitely a plus.
And I absolutely do like the binds. I can't say I noticed the difference because I don't have one of the old ones, but like binds are just so it it hits really, really well on the end of the string. Like it has a very I just dinged it
Mm-hmm.
twice on the floor.
I think that's definitely because of the polish and also just the shape of the inside of the yo-yo.
It's definitely it's not feeling like it's sitting there snagging. Um the walls are basically standard height. Like from the pad to the going on to the profile. That's pretty standard looking. Um oh what pads does it come with stock?
It's just like generic yo-yo factory pads.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, also the bearing is really smooth. I don't know if yeah, no, this is the original one that it came with. And it was like really, really nice. And I haven't needed to lube it or
Yeah.
anything.
It just comes with these pads. I actually can't tell in this lighting. I think they're either the white or the clear. I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
That I never really paid honestly, I'd never really pay attention to pads. I'm one of those people that just doesn't change their pads unless they fall out.
You are literally my target market for Hollywood pads.
Maybe
uh
I'll get some. We'll see.
oh, perhaps. But yeah, so tell me more about the process of you mentioned that Yo-Yo Factory kind of did the design. Did they sort of ask you like what's the general shape that you want? And then you like
No,
iterated.
so actually what happened with the original Spotlight, with the Ultra, there was really no uh there wasn't really that much of a design process because we already had the basic shape and design of the original Spotlight. So with the original, this was actually just it was like a prototype of a general Yo-Yo Factory yo-yo that wasn't going to be a signature. It was just this general prototype they had sitting at Yo-Yo Factory. If you don't know, I live like 20-25 minutes from Yo-Yo Factory headquarters, so I go there quite a bit. And one time when I was in there, I just saw the prototype on Ben's desk and I'm like, hey, what is that? Can I try it? And he's like, oh, it's a new yo-yo. Sure, you can use it. And I use it and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. It's super comfortable in the hand, stuff like that. And I just loved everything about the yo-yo except it just felt a little bit too light. And
Hmm,
there was I didn't like how there was like a bump in the center either. So I wanted to flatten that out and that kind of changed the weight a little bit.
good choice.
We definitely added some weight onto this. If you want to see the original prototype, I can show you that too.
Oh no, we don't need to. Yes, of course, go grab
All
that.
right, all right.
That'd be
Be
awesome.
right back.
And while you're out, I'll just say one quick thing just for the people watching. I'm not talking to Hunter right now. The thing with higher strength aluminums is that when you ding them, I'm just talking to the viewers. When you ding higher strength aluminum, it really has a lot less of an effect both on the finish, but also on like when you feel it, you don't get that gross ding feeling that you usually get with like 6061, and you tend to get less vibe because the material can just handle it better. It just bounces off the ground. So there's a lot of really good benefits to getting 7075 or 6061 or just anything that's not wait, sorry, 7075 or 7068 or anything that's not 6061, which is why you won't be seeing the melatonin made in 6061 ever again.
What's the melatonin made in?
6061.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to
Are
make
you
it
planning on making like are you planning on making a 7068?
I'll likely start making things out of 7075 or 7068 from now on, just because I'd rather have a yo-yo that lasts longer than a cheap yo-yo. is basically it.
Yeah, you should still have some options for the people that don't want to spend as much money too. Because
Delaware.
like you okay, yeah, that's true, that's true.
Yep.
But like the thing is, like a lot of people just want like a good budget metal yo-yo, and you can't
That's
really get that with the 7068 very easily.
that's
All
definitely.
right, so this is the original prototype.
Ooh, that looks
So
that almost looks like
the
a
profile
crucible
was
hub.
the profile was basically unchanged,
Uh-huh.
but as you can see with this, this looks quite a bit different. So the hub was removed, flattened out, and made a little bit wider too,
Hmm.
just for aesthetic reasons mainly, and also just help with the weight distribution a little bit and making finger spins a little bit easier too. I
Hmm.
didn't want an actual finger spin cup just because I feel like that doesn't look as good and it messes with the performance a little bit.
Yeah.
I just feel like, especially taking pictures of yo-yos, it looks a lot better with a flat cup like that.
There are
So
things there's definitely
that's
things
kind of
that
where the design
add
came with this.
character in a hub that doesn't mess too much with the weight distribution, but like no one's ever gonna complain about a flat hub. It's
Yeah,
always a fine choice.
yeah.
Um
So, anyways, that was like basically it is the design process with the original. But
uh
then when we made the Ultra, really it wasn't. It was barely anything. Like I actually didn't make any changes. We just went straight to production because Ben knew exactly how to change it to turn it into Ultra and make it a good yo-yo. Because
mhm.
there really aren't any noticeable changes in like the actual like shape of the yo-yo or anything. It's really just the width, the weight, and the material are the things that are changed, and then the polished and uh the finish on the yo-yo. So those are like the main things that were changed. But like really for the Ultra, it wasn't something where we had to make a bunch of prototypes or anything like that.
They just did it and it came out good.
Yeah,
That's
I
sick.
mean they yo-yo factory people obviously are very experienced with making yo-yos,
Yeah.
and they've done like Ultra before, so with other yo-yos. So since they already had the original design, it wasn't really too much. There wasn't really anything you had to change other than just uh changing it to Ultra. Just like how if you were gonna make a yo-yo into titanium,
Yeah.
usually there's some small changes you have to make, but you don't have to like completely change the yo-yo as far as I'm aware. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm completely wrong on that. I don't know.
There's I mean you would usually just like change it to take more advantage of the material. So he probably made the walls a little bit thinner where they didn't need to be thick and just messed around with the weight distribution to take advantage of the new material. But it works. And one thing I noticed looking at this, and when I first picked it up, I was looking at it, I'm like, those rims don't look beefy enough. And it like from this side, it looks like they're really chunky. But then if you go inside, there's that thumb grind ring. And so it really cuts in. And so it feels like it's a really thin rim. And so it feels like it shouldn't spin for very long. But then you try it and it just goes and goes and goes and doesn't
Yeah,
stop. And it's almost like an optical illusion because I have no idea how thick these rims are, and it has way more power than I was expecting, and it just doesn't ever stop. And for a monometal yo-yo, that's like, I mean, it's maybe easier with these higher quality aluminums, but like it's tough to get a yo-yo that really has the power to get through anything you can throw at it.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
So
mhm.
you want to talk about colors?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Though, can I do one more little thing?
Okay, yeah,
Just playing with this thing, it reminds me, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ben started with the Genesis and then built out from there, because just something about it feels like it has that Genesis DNA in it. And that for me was like the go-to Yo-Yo Factory yo-yo for a very long time was the Genesis, just because it works for so much and it had so much power. And this feels like a modern day Genesis to me. Just like it's something that if you're gonna get a Yo-Yo Factory yo-yo, this is it's like this or the shutter wide angle are like really really good options. Obviously the edge too, but like as far as monometals go, like really 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 solid, um, from Yo-Yo Factory. Colorways.
yeah. So all right. So first color is rose gold,
Ooh.
super cool.
Uh-huh.
And then we have emerald green,
Very nice.
feel like this color isn't very utilized. Like not many people make yo-yos with emerald green anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but then we have this color, which I think is pretty cool.
That
It's
is,
like a yellow and green fade with black splash.
what's this one called again?
Blackberry lemonade.
Ooh, very, very
Yeah,
good.
so I think it looks super cool, especially when it's good lighting and you can see the yellow and green a little bit better. Right now, it just looks like it's all one color,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I'm looking
Oh,
at it
there
in
you can
person.
see it a little bit better.
Yeah. And then
So
there's
then
obviously Podium
the final
Edition.
color, yeah, we
Yeah.
actually have another color that's still coming, so that one's gonna be really cool too.
I won't.
But the podium color is definitely my favorite. It looks like it could be a $200 yo-yo if it wanted to be.
Yeah. No, it's really like when I saw the lineup, I was like, oh, those are all really nice. I want the podium, please. It's so I don't even know
Yeah,
how
this is
not.
definitely most popular one too.
I believe it.
Everyone wants the podium.
And this shows up so well on stage as well. That one little like
Yeah,
shiny.
this can be my new competition color.
Absolutely. Um, and one other thing I noticed is the podium has your signature engraved here and then spotlight engraved here on the rim, whereas the blackberry lemonade and I think the other colorways have it in the hub.
Yeah, all the colors except for the podium have my signature on the cup.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so the reason I didn't want it on here was I wanted this to just, since I'm using this as a competition yo-yo, I want to be able to uh finger spin if I want that. Like I'm not necessarily gonna do it, but just to have that as an option. And
Yeah.
also it just makes the gold look like pop more
Yeah.
because it's just so shiny already, and I feel like having the engraving would make it not look as good.
It I love anytime you have round turned metal, the way that the light just like does that
Yeah.
hourglass all the way around, and it's got that
Oh,
like
you want to know something cool about how this color is actually made?
of
I've
course.
gotten a lot of questions. I've gotten a lot of questions on this about people are like, is that bimetal? Is that like a different metal in the center?
Can I
But
guess?
it's not.
Can I
Yeah, sure.
guess that they anodize it all in silver, so it's raw. They anodize it in gold, the whole thing, and then they mask that and blast it. That would be my guess.
Kind of, not really actually. So they engrave or they anodize the whole yo-yo silver, and
Okay.
then they have like some sort of machine that scratches off the anode in the center, and then they anodize it in gold in the center.
How do
Very
they
interesting
mask the
process.
rest of the
I'm not sure. I wasn't the one that like machined them, so you probably have to ask Ben to see if you want to
oh,
know the answer to that because I'm not really sure. All I know is that that's how they make them for this color, but other than that, like I've never actually machined a yo-yo, so I'm not sure.
that's crazy. It
But it's
looks
definitely
so
it's
good.
definitely cool. It looks like it's two different metals.
It it absolutely does, and they do it right at the transition. Like there's a curve that gets interrupted,
Hmm.
and it's right there that it happens, and it's perfect.
Yeah, like if you look at the transition between the gold and the silver, it literally looks like it's two different metals.
Yeah, completely. I
It
can't
looks
even
like
tell.
something where you can take the gold cap off and play without it, but it's all one piece.
Hot swap hubs.
Yeah,
Uh,
people are like, "Did you like have to pop in the gold hubs or what?" And I'm like, "It's all one yo-yo." So,
you could make the first illusion quad metal. just just make it look like it's four metals on there.
it'd be so cool though. You do this where you anodize the whole yo-yo in silver, then
Hmm.
anodize like a big cup gold, take off part of it, anodize with silver, and then put like a gold dot in the center or something.
That'd be so
I don't
nice.
know. That might look dumb, or it
Well,
might look awesome. I don't know.
you could just put this back on the machine and scratch off a little bit, and then have a little raw section or something like that.
Maybe.
That would be
Yeah.
one. Kind of mimic that a little, but then oh man, the amount of cost that would add. um. Oh, you know what? I dinged this. I remember now. I dinged this. I was at Disneyland and this fell out of my jacket straight onto the concrete when I got out of the car. So this has
Oh
one.
gosh. Oh no.
It was for a good reason. Um, well, not really. It was because I went to Disneyland. Oh, in fact, when I went in, they caught me with this yo-yo in my pocket, which is a fun story about this. I had this in my pocket and I was like, uh, they're like, did you get this yo-yo here? And in my head, I'm like, I know that there is no more yo-yo cart at Disneyland. There used to be, but there's not. And so I looked at the security guard and I went, yes, because I know that they take away yo-yos. And he went, all right, well, just make sure that you keep it in your pocket the whole time. And I got that close to losing my spotlight.
That's so weird that they wouldn't allow yo-yos into Disneyland. Makes no sense.
Well, it's because they don't want you taking the spotlight literally off of the people who are paid to be there as performers, you know. At
I
least that's
guess.
what I've been told. But that actually gets me to another question, which is where did the name for Spotlight come?
Okay, so with that, it was mainly because I wanted this yo-yo to be like a really, really good competition yo-yo.
Mhm.
Because obviously I'm a yo-yo competitor, even though like I'm a content creator and a lot of people that follow me for that.
Uh-huh.
Like I'd still consider myself a yo-yo competitor. So I wanted to make something related to like performing, being on stage. So I
Mm.
was thinking of different names like uh surrounding that kind of topic. And Spotlight was really like the best thing I could think of. And I knew there would be a lot of different cool opportunities for like logos and stuff. So we ended up doing a pretty simplistic logo with just a little spotlight for the eye. But
Mm.
I think simplistic is better for stuff like that. I don't like I'm not a big fan of when yo-yos have like super complicated engravings unless it's like a cool artwork.
Like
It
Mal.
either has to be it either has to be a really cool artwork like that, like Mowell does, or just a really simplistic logo.
I didn't I thought that that was just a triangle, but now I see that it's like a
Yeah.
spotlight shining down. That's really
Yeah, a
pretty.
lot of people don't notice that because the logo is small on the original. It's a
Oh,
little bit bigger on the Ultra,
uh-huh.
but oh actually oh never mind, it's the same. Never mind. For some reason I thought it was slightly bigger logo, but it's not.
Do you remember any of the names that got rejected?
Um I have some other names, but I'm gonna save them for future yo-yos. So
Okay, okay, I
that's
won't.
gonna be top secret. Oh, actually, you know what? This is the only color that has the spotlight logo small. If you look at like this,
Mhm. Oh, that's way bigger.
it's much bigger. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I knew I wasn't crazy. It's just this one that has the smaller. Yeah. So the podium edition is the only one that has like the exact same size and location of the engravings as the original spotlight. But the other ones have the my signature in the cup and then the logo on the side, but bigger.
Man, all of them look so good in the case. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, for sure. Dude,
Um,
this is definitely my favorite though. So good.
it's got this looks like a spotlight in the center, just
Yeah,
shining.
that's kind of what I was going for. And with
Yeah.
this, I wanted a really cool color for competing. And I was thinking I always thought gold and silver would be cool for yo-yo. And
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, gold and silver, that's like corresponds with first and second place. So in like a contest and spotlight is related to like performing, being on stage, competing, stuff like that. So I'm
Yeah.
like, why not call it the podium? I thought that was a good name, especially right after I got podium at nationals. I just thought that made it even better. So even though I got the one spot that wasn't gold or silver, we can forget about that part.
Yeah. Well,
Still
this is what it's
podium.
striving for. You got
Hey,
the
I don't think anyone would want to buy a yo-yo if it has bronze on it. So
it's perfect. You've got the gold in the center, then you've got silver, and then you have you on the outside. I'm so sorry. I
it's
can't.
all good. Imagine like putting bronze on the yo-yo though. I just feel like
Uh,
that would not look that good.
oh
Maybe it
yeah.
would. No one buys brown yo-yos.
There's what do I have that's brown? I have
I don't
the
think I have a single
uh,
brown yo-yo in my collection.
I think I only have the Sherpa, and I bought it in brown because I didn't care because it was a Sherpa, and I wasn't gonna.
I don't have any brown yo-yos, I don't think. At least not all brown. I have like Do you know the David Ung shutter?
I don't.
It's like brown with turquoise splash. It's a cool color. It's a really old, I think, kind of rare color.
Uh-huh.
But that's like the only brown yo-yo I have.
That sounds like a really pretty colorway though.
Yo, I'll try to find it. I'm gonna try to find it real quick.
All right. And
Oh god.
so yeah, I think for the most part we've covered everything except for let's do a little play test. I'll do a play test while you find this. Oh yeah,
There
no,
you
that's
go.
really nice. Damn.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that color is pretty cool. That's like the only brown yo-yo I really have.
Which, by the way, if people are listening to this as a podcast, this will be up on my YouTube channel as well. And yeah, so you can find me there. It should be at modern_yoyos on YouTube. Should be my tag there. And if it's not, I'll make it that. But as far as a playtest, like like you're saying, super wide, like totally able to hit anything that I throw at it. Um, and really good stability. Like right there, I was like this trick, I have to go backwards, like against the spin, which on an unstable yo-yo, it will totally screw it up. Because if you're going this direction, then it's stable, but if you go the other direction, then it's not. And this holds it up really, really well. Like that was about 8 rotations I just did, and it didn't go that far off axis. I was totally able to stay with it. And so that is tough to do, to get that level of stability. And also this amount of spin time without feeling like it's a brick on a string. Like it does
Yeah.
not have that feeling to it at all.
So I'm curious, do you think it feels like a light yo-yo or a heavy yo-yo? Because it's so controversial. Like I asked at nationals, I had a bunch of people play with the original Spotlight.
Mhm.
Literally, probably it was 50-50. Half of people are like, this is so light, and the other half are like, this is so heavy.
Well, I think
I'm like, why does everyone have such differing opinions? It's so interesting.
I think what they're picking up on is that it's very nimble, and it can move very fast, but it has a lot of power behind it, and so that might be what they're sensing as far as
Mhm.
feeling heavy. Um, because it
I
can
guess if you start trying to yo-yo fast, you can yo-yo really fast with it. But as soon as you're going slow, it feels like a really heavy, powerful yo-yo.
here's some I'm more fast. Yeah, no, it changes direction on a dime. Um,
I don't know. Now I just don't. I barely even do speed combos anymore, so
I've only just
I haven't
started.
really noticed that too much. What?
I've only just started speed, so um, but yeah, no, it can also handle the more flowy stuff if I put my more like my actual style stuff in. It
It's
has
kind of
enough
funny because that was not in mind when designing it.
what flow?
Flowy stuff.
Oh yeah,
Because like obviously when you have a signature yo-yo, it's all about your style, and my style is like complete opposite of yours. So
yeah.
it's good that it still works for that kind of stuff.
Mhm. Well, it works. I wouldn't say it's the best. I like if it were a little bit heavier, it would probably feel better for that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. Or maybe if it were bimetal to give it like a little more something to it. So I would say
Yeah,
that
bimetal spotlight would be sick for sure.
I would love to see that. That would be, especially with 7068, that would be
Yeah, I
wild.
was imagining doing like a spotlight ultra, except with gold rims.
Ooh, that would be
So podium edition. So the gold cup, the
yeah,
silver body, and then gold rims.
that would
So
really
sick.
the the trifecta. Oh man.
It could work, possibly.
It looked really good. The one thing I would say as far as negatives, I think and this is a me thing more because I have very chunky fingers. Um, the finger grinds like kind of touch against the edge, so that's maybe one thing, which is such a like
Oh yeah.
um
Yeah,
Like,
for me, I haven't even noticed that because I have tiny fingers.
yeah. And most people don't have fingers that are as sausagey as mine. So that's probably something that people aren't gonna notice. Um, but yeah, just for finger spins, it hits them all. It does them all. Does all the spins, does all the
Yeah,
grinds.
for sure. When I saw this color, like
Mhm.
coming into Yoyo Factory, my first thought was like, oh, is this gonna be able to finger spin? Because like I saw the shiny gold, and I felt like it wasn't gonna have a good finish for that, but
Yeah.
it feels just like the rest of the yo-yo.
It's it would probably be a tiny bit easier if it were blasted, but like I don't
Maybe,
notice
yeah.
it at all because it's flat. Like my finger just glides right on it. It
Yeah, I
won't.
mean, I've had no problems with trying to finger spin on these.
Yeah. And I was very surprised, just like you were, like just how good it was for finger spins. Um,
Yeah, I remember you were asking like when you wanted to get a certain color, and you're like, "Does the podium finger spin?"
and
That was like the first question you asked, if I remember right.
you convinced me. That's the one I ended up with. It looks so good. Um, oh yeah, hit him with that DNA. Man, so yeah, I think that's what? Whoa! Did you see Justin's DNO?
Oh yeah, I just shook my whole desk.
Oh man, that's all good. Um, so cool. First, let you plug this. Where can people get the Spotlight Ultra?
All right, so for right now in the US, you can get it at hunteryoyos.com.
Mhm.
That is my website, so you can get it there if you're in the US. If there are any viewers, I'm not sure if there are, but if there are any viewers from Japan, you can get it at Rewind.
Mhm.
And very soon there will the Spotlight Ultra will be releasing at a lot more retailers around the world too. I believe Sluicny will get some, probably Yo-Yo Expert, some other US retailers, maybe a couple other European retailers. I'm not really sure. We'll see probably in the next couple weeks, I would guess.
Mhm.
But for now, US, hunteryoyos.com, Japan, Rewind, and if you're somewhere else, you'll be able to get it at some other retailer very soon.
That is awesome. So go to those places. And there's one thing that I want to plug, which is the thing that helps to support this kind of review slash story is I buy yo-yos at their wholesale cost and then I sell them. And the benefits of them is that this one has a signature. It's signed by Hunter on the box, his actual signature, not the one that's on the yo-yo. And so you can, I'm going to put this up on my eBay. My eBay store is also modern underscore yo-yos. But if you just search up Spotlight Ultra Hunter Feuerstein yo-yo, those keywords on eBay, you'll be able to find it. And the link will be underneath this video slash podcast. If you want to bid
Yeah, I
on
mean,
it.
I'm sure that's probably the only Spotlight Ultra that's on eBay either.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. The only mint one, especially. Oh yeah, and this one I don't open, I don't play it. It just sits on my shelf until I ship it. Um and I have good feedback on eBay. And yeah, so if you want to pick that up, go ahead and do that and bid on that. And while you're over there, you can check out I have my pads and my bearings, which are Hollywood pads, which are just the most affordable pads. You can buy them in bulk. I sell pads or packs of 15 for like way cheaper than you'll get anywhere else. And that's 15 pairs. So it's 30 pads total. So go ahead and check those out as well as bearings. I have center tracks, officially licensed by Yoyo Factory, and concaves officially licensed by Diffio for like a lot, about a fourth of the price as you'll get anywhere else. And those are in bulk. So you can get 10 bearings for like $30 over at my eBay. And soon on modernyoyos.com. You could also go to modernyoyos.com if you want to check out my super pack, which is just it's a bunch of stuff for way cheaper than you'll find anywhere else. So go ahead and check those things out. And thank you so much, Hunter, for coming onto the
yeah,
show.
thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to come
All
back,
right.
future releases, I would love to hear the stories about anything that you got.
Yeah, for sure. And also on the podcast, if you ever want me back on, I'm glad to join. I think it's super fun doing these. So
Absolutely. Thank you for coming back on.
yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And talk to you again soon.
All right, see ya.
Later.